We are going to speak about a typical Swiss subject, which is actually the strength or the weakness of the Swiss currency. Let's be a little bit contrarian and let's explain why the Swiss francs is not undervalued as many investors believe it is under or overvalued. I mean, frankly speaking, the market is valuating the Swiss francs. That's the most important things on which we are going to discuss about it. Let's start the presentation. Let's look to some historical factors regarding Swiss francs against euro and to analyze if the Swiss francs is under or overvalued. But be aware about one thing, currency is at first valued by the market. That's the most important things. And when we look to historical factors here in Switzerland, indeed, something is surprising, is the shock of 2015. And I can remember being here 5 years ago saying the Swiss francs is definitely undervalued against euro. And what happened at that time was exactly what we have been predicted, is that the peg that we had between the Swiss francs and the euro at 120 was definitely not sustainable. We were just surprised by the speed of the correction, the velocity and the surprise of the events. And have a look what happened in January 2015. Indeed, you have the massive intervention of the Swiss National Bank saying we are going to apply negative interest rates and we are going to be one of the first central bank worldwide to apply negative interest rates. What happened in that case to the Swiss francs? Well, at first, there was this massive depegging of the Swiss francs against the euro. We were coming from 120 to parity. American authorities are saying that Swiss National Bank is manipulating the Swiss francs. It's not the case. Frankly speaking, in order to manipulate a currency, you need to be at least two partners. So nobody is manipulating. It's just the market who is deciding where a currency has to be. Keep in mind, forex markets are the most efficient markets. Here, what do we have? We had at first the correction, the appreciation, the massive surprising appreciation of the Swiss francs, which was indeed a loss of credibility in terms of communication policy for the Swiss Central Bank. It was the first times that the communication of the Swiss Central Bank was definitely bad. And then we had the ongoing depreciation of the Swiss currency until the end of the first quarter 2018. Here, everybody was a little bit surprised of this depreciation back to 120, back to peg levels or close to peg levels of the Swiss currency. And there were different reasons which were mostly technically speaking in favor of a depreciation of the Swiss francs, but the fundamental reasons were definitely speaking in favor of an ongoing appreciation of the Swiss francs in direction of parity, or maybe even below parity. But when we look to the fundamental elements are definitely speaking in favor of the Swiss francs on the long run. You cannot avoid. Even if in the short run, the current appreciation looks quite quick, it's maybe the Swiss francs is maybe shortly overbought, that's maybe right, but in the long run, means 3 to 5 years, we are going back to the direction of parity of the Swiss francs. And the elements are very simple. If you look, for instance, to the World Economic Forum efficiency report, who is a member of this efficiency report always in the 10 first places? The Swiss economy. The Swiss economy is just one of the most efficient economies worldwide. The political system is stable. The reform implementation is quick. have a look. Recently in Switzerland, we had a fiscal reform in favor of corporate taxes. In which country can you implement as quickly as in Switzerland such a strong fiscal reform in favor of tax corporates? Nowhere else. The economy is growing on a very low level. It's very stable. The economic cyclicals are not very huge. We have not a cyclical economy. It's in the history. Since 30 years, the GDP growth in Switzerland is below European average, below other economies, but also the recession are much smoother, much more subdued compared to peers. We have also a very strong educational system. We have a current account surplus, we have a budget surplus, we have a trade balance surplus. All those historical factors, which are to a certain extent also based on chronicle elements, are speaking in the long run in favor of a stronger Swiss francs, a Swiss francs going to parity. If you want to have a weaker Swiss francs, like the message of the Swiss Central Bank, you have to take advantage or to decrease advantage of the Swiss economies. I think that's not a sustainable objective of the Swiss National Bank, which is doing its job pretty well in order to avoid huge correction or appreciation or depreciation like the appreciation we had in January 2015. Voilà, that was my message, and that's why we believe in the long run, don't be too short Swiss currency if you are a Swiss-based entity or a Swiss-based household. I hope you were sharing not maybe our opinion, but at least my information I have shown to you, and we will see if in the long run we are right in going to say Swiss franc is going to appreciate furthermore because of Swiss advantages against euro or other currencies.